Welcome back to the Midlife Rebrand. We're redefining this chapter together. To stay connected with our community, be sure to subscribe and follow the show right now. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer that this show is for support and storytelling purposes, not medical advice. Please seek professional care for medical or mental health concerns. Here we go.
Welcome back to the pod, part 2 with Alanna.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're talking
about rest.
we're talking about the nervous system and rest. We're going to deep dive more into the rest because people seem to be very alarmed that they're allowed to rest.
Yes.
Women especially.
Or required to rest.
I feel like men are alarmed that they need to rest.
No, men rest without needing to.
Is it a man thing you find often?
With my people, like with my patients, no, I wouldn't say it is. I mean, I see more women than I see men as clients, and I definitely think it presents a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But there are, I'm surprised. I think everyone's stress is higher. I think everyone is more stressed.
Yeah.
I think it maybe presents a little bit differently in men than it does in women. I think men have a better ability to be bounded, or maybe their tasks tend to be more bounded, right? Like often women's tasks are the ongoing, continuous ones, and men's tasks are more like, I did the chore and now it's done.
Yes.
But I do find, I have a lot of anxious dudes on my table, and guys that present as very chill, and like if you were chatting with them, you would think that this guy has got it like just one of those like jokey guys, but then they get in a safe place and then they start talking about, how things feel to them.
Deep down, they're actually anxious. So yesterday was my anniversary of my dad's passing.
Aww.
It's been 9 years.
Yeah.
And it just affected me different this year because I had a rough year, and I know he would be so proud of where I am and what I've done and all that sorts of stuff, so it hit a little different. So before I went to work yesterday, my doorbell rang, and it was my girlfriend Jamie. And she was like, I know you have to go to work, but I also know it's an emotional day, and here's an orchid.
Here's an orchid.
And I was like, woo! And then I cried until I got to work.
Grief hits different.
It
Grief
does.
is a different emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
it's
9 years,
sneaky.
you don't think it's gonna.
It's sneaky.
But I would say that this year's probably been the hardest. But it's just also when every man in your life has let you down, and the one man who didn't let you down isn't around anymore.
Of course.
It just hit different this year. But anyway, so that was my day yesterday. It was, and this, I like the circle, like it just doesn't end.
Yeah.
Right, like it. Yeah.
And now we're gonna make it live forever.
Yeah, that's right. Now I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Don't worry, little orchid. You'll be in good hands. I've kept all these plants alive. That's a miracle, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, now people stop buying me plants, please, because.
Yeah, because you can't keep looking after stuff.
Yes, no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
No. It's like one more thing I have to water, and I might die. But anyways, back to the pod.
Yeah, back to podcasts.
Yes. Rest.
Yes,
Rest. Seven.
So I think there's a variety of ways to look at this, but I do like the approach of thinking about rest from a variety of different perspectives. So the 7 types of rest are mental, physical, emotional, social, spiritual, creative, and sensory.
Yes.
So some of these
It's a lot of ways to rest.
A lot of ways to rest.
Yeah.
A lot of ways you can rest.
We have options,
Yes.
people.
Let's not hear we all have to rest in every way all the time. This isn't about making it harder.
Yeah, no.
But about saying pick one, but also recognize that sometimes what you need is a different form of rest than you might think about.
Yeah.
And so it can be really restful so for example, sensory rest is really important to me. So this is one that I use for myself, and I use in my treatment rooms often to try and figure out, like, is there a form of sensory input that feels really restful for you? So we love the AT audio.
Yes.
Right? So that's a form of sensory rest. It's input, so it's not like you're not getting sound in order to rest, though that can be restful too. So I was working on a headache for a friend one time. We were just like at brunch, and she's a migraine-y person, and she was like, oh, this headache. So I was like, let's go downstairs and I'll see if I can find where it's coming from. And for me, I find white noise is very regulating and very restful. So I can do this in front of my ear, And this right away, like I want to yawn. And so just white noise or all friction across the opening to my ear. So now I'm getting both touch and sound. And this is the ear is very connected to your vagus nerve. So that's a good way to do that. But I've done that to people in the treatment room. I did it to one person one time. And I always say to people, like, let me know what you think about this. Because for some people, it's completely neutral. So why would I waste my time?
Yeah.
With other people, it's really helpful. And other people, I did it to this one woman. She said, I hate that. It's making me anxious. And I was like, okay, then let's stop and find something that does feel good. So when I was working on my friend's headache, we tried it. So I typically do 30 seconds and then I'll go back and like poke the muscles again to see whether they feel better, same or worse. It didn't help. It probably didn't make anything worse, but it didn't help. So I thought, I wonder if it's more an absence of sound. So I just covered her ear for 30 seconds. Like I basically just sound blocked. And then I went back and poked those muscles again and they were way better. Headache got better.
Yeah.
And so it's not that like if she was wearing sound canceling headphones, she wouldn't ever get headaches. It was just that was a form of input that her nervous system found safe. And when the nervous system feels safe, our muscle tension goes down.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I've started recently, like if my kids are watching TV and I'm like listening to music or whatever, and then they're talking to me, so I turn off the music, but I still have my noise canceling headphones on. I just keep them on without anything, like no music, and I'm just doing chores around my house with nothing. But it helps me so much, and I'm a better mom because I'm not overstimulated with all the noise. I just keep my headphones on in my house.
It muffles the sound.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe
it just
because there's something about pitch too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can like a sound, but then as soon as that sound hits a certain pitch, you're like, ooh, I don't like that anymore.
Yes, because the ear picks up a lot of different types of input.
Yeah.
But it can be, so I do the same thing, Shay. Like did I tell you about taking the sound off my microwave, disabling my microwave?
No.
It was morning, this was a couple of years ago, and morning is usually the hardest time for me. I get pretty overstimulated. And this was post-meds. Pre-meds, I was awful in the morning, like so easily enraged. So in any case, my kid was talking to me and the microwave timer went off and my microwave beeps 4 times. I don't need 4. I need 1.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is unreasonable. 4 times. I was like, that's it. And I went downstairs and flipped the breaker because I am scared of electricity and I don't know which breaker is for the microwave because they're all terribly labeled. So I just turned off power to the whole house, came upstairs, took the front panel off the microwave and pulled the speaker off the motherboard. Oh. And I know how to do this because I learned it in order to take the beeper off the heating pad in my massage room because it would beep in the middle of a massage. When it was done, it had a 30-minute timer and it drove me crazy. So I learned how to do that. Minorly shocked myself while I was doing it on my
so that's how you learned.
So I knew
turn off all the
turn
power.
off all the electricity.
Yeah.
So now my microwave makes no sound. None of the buttons make any sound, and the timer doesn't make any sound either. And it still makes me so happy.
Oh my goodness, I love that.
Yeah, most microwaves have a way of turning the sound off, at least part way.
Yeah.
And you just have to look up which type of microwave it is, and there'll be like a combination of buttons you push that'll disable the sound. But my microwave it would disable the sound when you pressed buttons, but not the sound of the timer, and the timer was what I wanted.
Oh my god, I hate the timer.
Oh,
why
seriously.
does it keep going?
Yeah.
What is my
There's a way to do it. And that's a form of sensory rest, right? We are flooded with sensory input all the time.
Yeah.
I had a client on the table just last week and she's had a lot of nervous system issues and she had post-concussion syndrome for a long time and she just had another flare-up. And so she has found visual therapy really helpful. And so we were going to try a visual exercise. And so I had her, she was laying face up on the table and I was holding a popsicle stick with a dot on it because often I do a visual exercise with these where you track it as it comes towards your face.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, focus on the dot and just let me know. I said, do you have any stress at this point? And she's like, yeah. She's like, your ceiling's too busy. Like the panels, all the dots on the panels and the crossbars on the drop ceiling. She's like, it's already stressful because the ceiling's too busy. And I was like,
she wasn't even looking at the dot. Yeah.
Because there was too much input, right? So what she needed was eyes closed. That's more restful for her in that moment. But in my response was like, wow, that's really like, she must be really provoked for that to feel stressful. So I'll often say this to people, like if sound is a big stimulus for you, an overstimulating thing, and if in a massage treatment I find that a certain type of sound is helpful for reducing muscle tension, then I would recommend that you use sound as a form of rest So either the type of sound that you love, like the 8D audio, or your favorite song, or playing music while you try to do chores a little slower, or sound blocking.
Yeah.
So, and if you know that you have to go somewhere really sound overstimulating later, give yourself a preemptive rest of no sound before you have to go do that thing. Or like go to the grocery store with your headphones on. You don't have to be listening to anything. They can just be on sound canceling mode. And it makes the overstimulation of the grocery store and all the mental load and the decisions that you have to make less stressful because you've reduced one of the forms.
And the threat of random people talking to you.
So if we look at sensory rest, this is one of the ones that I use. So I feel a little bit more equipped to talk about it. Some of the other ones I don't use very much. So I don't, like spiritual rest, I don't spend a lot of time with that. But for sensory rest, it could be like taste, touch, smell, vision, hearing. And it might be that you need to spend some time with that sensation, or it might be that you need to turn down the volume on that sensation, so to speak, so that you have less input coming in. And any form of rest you look at, like if you look at something like mental rest, when we say mental rest, that doesn't mean you have to think about nothing. It might be restful to have a problem solving exercise. Like somebody was telling me, she's like, all I can do at night is play Sudoku. I'm avoiding everything. I'm not getting back to my friends. I'm not, like, that's all I do is hours of Sudoku. I was like, that is probably representing mental rest for her. So it's giving her brain something to do that is restful because it's getting her out of that rumination loop. And the fact that she doesn't want to return text messages, like this is something I talk about this a lot with people. When we're living in our stress zone, our nervous system goes to try and conserve energy. And anything that feels like a demand on your energy feels like a threat. So the answering email or the getting back to your friend, it doesn't mean you don't like your friend. It means that requires energy from me right now. And so it feels like
one
a
more
threat,
person
so
asking something of you almost, right?
Or even just having, that was me this week. I didn't respond to so many people, especially after a certain time. I'm like, I can't do it. I don't have the mental capacity to look at your message and even say something little. Like wasn't big. Nothing was asked of me. I just couldn't.
Energy is done. And so in that case, maybe what it is maybe it's social rest that's needed. And social rest, again, different things can be restful for different people. When I was in university, like I'm an extrovert. I'm not as extroverted as I used to be, but my favorite environment was a party where I knew a few people, but not everybody. I don't even go to those events anymore. Like
sounds like my worst nightmare.
I loved that environment because it was like the thrill of meeting new people, and you can sort of lean into whatever version of yourself you're into right then and find somebody that you can talk to, but you've got people that you know if you need the people that you know. But now I just wouldn't go. Somebody invited me to something like that, unless it was like it was super important for them and it was really meaningful that I attended. But then I would know that was going to cost me, and I would have to have some social rest either before or after. So social rest might be I had a reading date with a friend one time. I messaged her and I was like, I'd like to hang out with you, but I don't really want to have a conversation. Can I just bring my book? And she was like, that sounds perfect. I don't want to talk to you either, but I'd like to see you. So you can have those like curl up with your bestie and watch a movie.
Say what you need. We talk about it all the time.
Oh my gosh, just say what you need. That's why I do puzzling or painting or
You're creative.
Lego.
Rest.
Oh yeah, I'm very much. And I just ordered last night. I'm making felt things. I'll make you one, little felt plants. I don't know anything about this, but it looked like interesting. And I tried painting tulips yesterday and they looked awful. So I'm like, this is not my rest. Let's try something else.
So a felt plant I don't have to water?
Nope, it's not.
Perfect.
Yeah, I will give you one.
I'll take 3
Amazing.
Okay. Not rest.
So creativity feels restful for you?
Yes.
In particular forms or any form of creativity?
Any form of creativity.
If it doesn't work out, like the tulips?
Then I move on. Like I tried crocheting. Very difficult. I just move on. I have learned that it's okay to just move on. You don't have to finish something if it's not working out.
Well, and if your creative rest is stressing you out,
go on to the next.
On to the next.
Yeah. And see, there's the wisdom of saying, this is supposed to be restful, as opposed to this just became a chore that I have to complete.
And this is hard,
right?
yeah.
So people who are artists and their art becomes their work, now creativity might not feel restful for them because like, oh my gosh, I got to finish this portrait for this person, or, you know, I have to produce this thing that I don't actually like. So then for someone who, you know, creativity has become, their creative pursuit has become stressful or not restful, then stopping that for a while might feel like rest, even though they're a creative person and they like to be creative. Maybe they need something completely different, a different form of creativity, or maybe they're gonna, I don't think that anyone ever just stops being creative, but it might be like, I just need to take a pause from this as a task, as a chore.
Well, one of the first conversations you and I had about the nervous system, I had said something about, well, yeah, everyone's cold plunging now. That's supposed to be great for your nervous system. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, does that sound relaxing to you? I'm like, no, it sounds terrifying. I hate it. Well, then why would you do it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just because it's good for the nervous system doesn't mean it's good for you.
Yeah. And now we have more evidence to show that it's generally speaking not as good for women as it is for men.
For sure. Or you have to do it like warmer.
Yeah. Yeah, warmer cold plunges. Yeah.
Yeah, ew, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No interest in it. But I was like, okay, well, maybe the internet says, oh, you're stressed out, your nervous system is out of whack, go cold plunge, you're fine.
Yeah.
But then you said to me, well, no, don't do that.
Not
Why
if you
would
don't
you
like
do that
it.
if it's going to send your nervous system
Yeah.
even more out of whack?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
don't do
like
that.
it.
Yeah.
It is something I find really life-giving, but only in certain environments.
Yeah.
I don't sit in my bathtub full of cold water, but I'll get in a like mountain lake anytime.
Yeah.
Not
I
anytime,
would try
I should say,
that.
but like when it's warm enough
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
try it. Do a mountain lake.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I would try it. I'm
Yeah.
just not committing to the cause every day.
Or like I
Yeah.
hear people turn on their shower cold at the end of it just to get that.
No.
I-
Why would you end
Oh.
it? I turn up the heat right before the
Yes.
end just so I leave extra
Yeah, a
warm.
little
I've
warmer.
also started doing candle lit showers
Oh,
where I don't
yeah.
actually have the lights on.
Little sensory rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's,
Baths,
it's
like,
so
oh,
nice.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I hate a bath.
Why?
I don't know. I just think it's like soaking in your own filth. It's just
I know,
weird to me.
I know other people who feel like that. I do not feel
Yeah,
like that.
I just don't love a
baths also,
bath.
but-
It's not my
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Okay, cold plunges and bathing. Maybe I just don't
Fine.
like being in water.
But you'll
Maybe.
shower. But showering is fine.
Yeah, showering's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, run off, right? But anyways,
But
yeah.
yeah.
So I'm like,
Darkness.
well, yeah,
Darkness is stressful.
darkness, a couple
Yeah.
candles, some music, and I'm like, oh yes, this is lovely. I want to do this all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those things that from a neuroscience perspective, I think, okay, sensory input like touch, sound, smell, all these things, this is great for your brain, and here's what it's doing. It shifts blood flow and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I was talking to a client one time and she said, I think the whole point of being alive is enjoying life, and sensory pleasure is a big part of enjoying life. So she
Yes.
said, you know, pick your favorite coffee mug. Don't just drink out of any coffee mug. Like, take the extra time to choose your favorite coffee mug, because it's about enjoyment, and that extra pleasure really matters. And I love that sort of confluence of art and science, where for her it was just about, this is enjoyable and life should be enjoyable.
Yeah.
And as soon as she said it, I was like, ooh, it's also great for your nervous system.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I will wash my mug if it's dirty. Just to drink, like 14 other mugs. But I'm like, no, I
I have my own too.
I want
Yeah.
my mug. So I'll wash it if it's like not clean, just to like re-drink out of it the next day.
Lovely.
Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
Something small.
Yeah.
Don't
yeah.
judge me.
Yeah.
What makes you happy? Oh,
There we go again.
I know. Hey.
Yeah.
We caught
I-
that.
Yeah.
Sorry, feisty.
Yeah.
Feisty. Yeah.
Rein it in.
But yeah, so those are your forms of rest and ways of finding what rest you need. So then I think that like the difficulty is in knowing ourselves and in asking ourselves the real questions of like, what do I need the most tonight? So like today I finished work, went to counseling, and then I had time before I came here. I was like, oh, maybe I could like call a friend and see if they want to do an early dinner, because I'd have time to like pack in an hour and a half dinner and then like zip up here. But honestly, I just couldn't make the decision. Like there were people I could have texted and said like, hey, I've got this window of time. Do you want to do that? And then I was like, well, maybe I should go for a walk. Like it's so nice out. I should probably go for a walk. And then I remembered that I had bought food and there was meat defrosting in my fridge, and I should probably, and it was just like, there were too many decisions to make. I needed to not make the decisions.
Yeah.
And I needed to just have that like, I guess, mental rest and rest from the decision making and the mental load.
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes it's forgiving ourselves for not maximizing the beautiful day and being outside, or not taking advantage of a time that I could have squeezed in one more thing, one more social activity, one more visit with a friend. But really, that's what I needed.
Yeah.
And then I felt great by the time I left to come here. I was like, I don't have to feel like I'm rushed or like I crammed a bunch of stuff in.
I love that.
Perfect.
And I find the same with jiu-jitsu. It's late at night, which we don't love. But I feel like my evenings right now in my state of life is so crazy and so busy that no matter what, I've always made time for it. And I go and I come back and I'm like, okay, I'm happy and I can face tomorrow. And I'm not so overwhelmed in my head. And it's what I needed.
And I
always
wonder,
made time.
like, what would you do with that time if you hadn't gone to jiu-jitsu?
I would, sit on the couch. Probably.
Fight with your children,
Fight with
be
my
angry
children.
with your husband, be annoyed that,
And I was still angry with my husband when I went to jiu-jitsu, but when I came home, I was no longer angry. And I could tell him why I was angry before. Like, I could work through my feelings better. I had that pause.
Mm-hmm.
But I just had that space.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
And I
amazing.
think so often we convince ourselves that, like, well, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for jiu-jitsu tonight. But really, then you don't go and you're like, okay, so now I just sat on my computer sort of working, not working, or
Fighting with everyone
Yeah,
because I'm
or
already
like-
overstimulated and
numbing.
mad.
Yeah.
Instead of doing what you needed.
Yes.
What your body needed.
And I
as
think
rest.
we're good at that, though. I think you and I are good at prioritizing what we need for rest and for our mental health.
Yes. Well, and holding each other accountable too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like, I know
Yeah.
you need this. I know you'll feel better. Just eat the apple with razor blades.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. A little peanut butter on top.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
Just a
right.
little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think if I could like deliver a message that everyone could, you know, how someone can say something and you're like, okay, I recognize that's true. I said this to my counselor today. I'm like, I recognize that that is true, but I don't like it and I don't feel like it's true yet.
Yeah.
Right? Those things, like, it just doesn't always land. Right? But I think recognizing the fact that, first of all, rest is not optional. We think it's optional, but it is absolutely not. And eventually it catches up. So we can live on like just straight apples for a while. If people haven't listened to the last episode, they'll be confused about the apples and razor blades. And
I know, they'll be like,
listen to the last
You have
one.
to go listen.
So we can push through
this
for
is
a
your plug
long
to listen to
time.
part one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We can push through for a long time. And some people can push through longer than others. And you see these people and you're like, how is this person still managing this load or whatever? But it doesn't matter. It's not about what one person can do and other people can't do, but we can push. But eventually it catches up to us,
Yeah.
whether it's, you know, disease presentation or burnout
Your
or
body talks.
Yeah, I saw
Pain,
this.
chronic pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw this article the other day on burnout. It was in Doctors. And it was like who burns out and who doesn't burn out. And the thing that made people burn out more predictably than anything else was rumination.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the article was like, here's a bunch of ways to stop rumination. And lots of them were physical or sensory or like doing something with your body to stop that rumination loop.
Yeah.
So in any case, the message that I would love to just be able to like land in everybody's like bodies and minds is rest is not optional. It doesn't have to look a particular way for you versus somebody else, but you deserve it. Not only do you need it, but you don't have to earn the privilege of resting.
Yeah.
Because your work is never going to be done.
Yeah.
It's literally
That's
never
true.
going to be done. So find ways to be creative, to be curious about what's my motivation for doing this thing. If I'm going for a walk, is it because I want to, or because I feel like I have to, or I'm punishing myself, or
Yeah.
my best friend loves walking and so I'm going with her, but I hate walking, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those things don't become restful, even though we're doing the things that are good for us.
Yeah.
So that would be one. And then the other one is this, like, when we start talking about stress and mental health and like what we need to do, we get this long list of great things to do, right? And we've just been talking, here's all these different ways that you can rest. And some people are going to hear, well, I have to do all of these. But we don't have capacity for that when we are living in our stress zone and we're completely maxed out and we can't respond to emails or texts for our friends. We're not going to come home at the end of the day and make these excellent choices for ourselves to like go to jiu-jitsu, sing in a choir, go on a nature walk, meditate, change our whole diet. So we have to be able to find things that are possible, right? Possible beats perfect every time. So if what's possible for you is sitting in your car and taking a few deep breaths, and you do that 3 times, it will change things. It will make a difference. It's not fast, but it's better than not doing anything. Yeah. Right? And it's what's possible.
And then reaching burnout and just your whole world falls apart.
Or disease. And you're not sure why you're having these symptoms or these presentations.
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually we max out. And then hopefully we do it enough that our stress levels start to change and come down overall. So instead of our like peaks and valleys being way up here, they're like a little bit more moderate. Maybe those rest valleys start to come a little lower, a little more like real rest. And our nervous system starts to heal, find new patterns, and you start to shift to the point where you go, I'm not even the same person anymore.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the same person, right? The change can be really real. So that would be my encouragement for people is try and find those ways that are doable. It doesn't matter if they're perfect. Just try and find something that you can actually do.
Okay, let's talk about what's happening May 7th.
Copper Mental Health Week.
Copper Mental Health Week is coming up. It's the first week in May. So the town, FCSS, and the Family Resource Network has put together this whole awesome week of stuff that is hopefully restful. Matt Kadar, who's one of the chiropractors at Riverside Sports Therapy, and I are doing free session on the Thursday night, so May 7th at 7 p.m. at the clinic on the stress injury cycle. So trying to find ways to heal that connection between stress and injury and how it presents in the body. One of the ways I think about this is like pain causes muscle tension causes pain. Same with stress causes muscle tension causes stress. It's this two-way connection, and you have to be able to interrupt it on one side at least in order to be able to change that cycle. So it'll be nervous system based stuff and physical. People can try stuff if they want to, but otherwise Matt and I will just demo stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
So can people sign up for that, or
you don't have to register?
Yeah,
you can just show up.
Okay.
I'm not expecting it to be like, standing room only sort of crowd, although now that it's on the podcast,
I know we're pretty popular.
Yeah,
exactly. Popular, then we would figure it out. But last year there was kind of 20 to 25 people there, and that's great. We can fit that many people just barely in our big wide hallway.
Amazing.
So May 7th at the clinic here in town, Griffin Road.
Sports Therapy.
7 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And we'll be done by 8:30. We're not going to keep people super late.
Perfect.
So that is that.
Amazing.
And then my other rest themed thing is a hiking retreat I'm doing this summer in BC. And it is something that I've really tried to think about different forms of rest for people. So it is a hiking retreat. So there's guided hiking out of the lodge, and then I'm going to be doing morning and evening stress reduction teaching and demos. It won't just be me talking at people, but we're going to try stuff and see what works for people and what doesn't, so that everyone leaves with tools that hopefully make them feel a little bit more in control of their stress. And I want to get into some of the sensory rest. So we'll have some sensory input things to see whether it's helpful for people or not. We'll definitely be doing physical rest, even though hiking is hard work, it's also restful.
Yeah.
And then you get the sensory rest of being in nature, connection with people, either people you came with or the type of people who come on these retreats are always awesome. So so that's late August. It's the last weekend of August, and
that's all
it's
food,
in BC. The
accommodations, activities.
It's like an all-inclusive without a pool or a flight. Oh, there's a hot tub. That's like a pool.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll find some alpine lakes to jump in. But it's like the best thing about all-inclusive vacations. I think the reason people do them is because they don't have to make decisions. Take all that mental load away.
Totally agree.
So that was part of the planning of this. Is it just it's simple. You show up. You have the clothes you have the resources you have. If you brought a book, great. If you didn't bring a book, well, I guess you don't have to decide whether you're going to read or not.
Exactly.
Yeah. So trying to keep it really simple that way, and also everything is very. You get what you need. So nobody has to go hiking if they don't want to go hiking. It can be, actually I just want time by myself to hang out in my room, have a nap, sit in the lodge and read a book.
So we will attach the link,
Yes.
the website where
Yeah,
people
for
can get more
registration
information
there.
and register and all that good stuff. And we'll have the information for the free event too.
That's
Give you all
cool.
the options for
Yes.
rest. You'll have no choice but to rest.
Yeah, exactly.
And to get it.
Definitely.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you next
Okay,
time.
thanks for having me.
Thank you for
It was
Thanks
fun
for
to be
coming,
here.
Alanna.
Yeah.